What's up gamers, Cryptico here, and welcome back to Lowering the Mark, a show where I analyze the current and former world records of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe time trial runs to see how these records get faster over time. We'll look at elements such as the loadout, racing lines, and mushroom usage to better understand what's bringing these times down. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel and hit the notification bell to be the first to know when my videos go live. For today's episode, we're heading back to the Mushroom Cup and taking a look at another audience requested course, Sweet Sweet Canyon at 200cc. On April 28, 2017, the world record for this run was set at 1 minute 25.763 seconds by the American player Ace T-Man, and at the beginning of the year on February 22, 2020, the world record was set at 1 minute 21.481 seconds by the Canadian player Matt. That's a 4.3 second improvement between records and a 5% faster time. Our former world record holder Ace has only broken one world record and hasn't done anything outside of that. Our current world record holder Matt has broken 60 world records across 3 unique runs and has spent nearly 850 days holding at least one world record. He recently picked up another 200cc world record and became the only multiple world record holder to represent Canada. At pre-release, the world record was just over 130, and it would get all the way down to 123 territory just a few days after the game's release. American player Snowdog and Dutch player Dread went back and forth a bit on the way down to 122, and around 123.5, American player Jimmy would sub in and trade hits with Snowdog before he grabbed the sub for himself with his 122.8. Their rivalry would continue all the way down to 122.4 when Jimmy put up that time that would hold for nearly a year, but during that time, English player Ryan 5 tied the world record, and then in June of 2018, Super Effects tied it and then beat the world record before Jimmy would snatch it back, and thus began the reign of Matt. He'd break the world record and put up 8 faster times, getting closer to 121 territory before Jimmy put an end to that brief stint, just barely missing the sub. Then finally, over 2 years ago, Matt went 121 for the first time, and between August 21st, 2018 to today, Matt continued to lower his world record without losing it all the way down to 121.4, setting 32 additional records in the process. In total, the world record was broken 91 times by only 12 different players. Contrary to the last episode, these two loadouts are completely different. Ace goes with the combo of White Shy Guy driving the Streetle Cart with the slim tires and the Plane Glider. Matt goes with the interesting combo of Wario driving the Bitty Buggy Cart with the button tires and the Cloud Glider. One important thing to notice with these light and heavy character choices is that the speed and handling stats aren't as far apart as they usually are. The same can be said for the acceleration and mini turbo stats. Either of these characters, when paired with the right components, could easily be suitable choices for any run at 200cc. These two card choices are prime examples of having those right components. The Streetle pushes Ace's acceleration, handling, and mini turbo stats up by almost 1.5 points combined, but the Bitty Buggy takes it up a notch by adding over 2 combined points to those same areas. It's important to note that Ace still has the advantage in those key areas, but he falls behind tremendously in speed, a crucial stat for 200cc. Ace's choice of the slim wheels undo nearly everything the Streetle Cart did for his loadout, but he does come away with an important increase to his top speed. The button wheels are what put Matt's acceleration and mini turbo stats on par with Ace while still holding on to that advantage in top speed. Now, the Plane Glider does no more for Ace than increase his top speed and grip stat by a mere quarter point each. Matt decides to reap one last boost to those areas he was lacking in with the Cloud Glider and come away with a better suited loadout. This course is kind of cool, but I find that there's too much yellow at times, and each section demands almost the same method of driving through it. Hopefully our record holders can make this track look a little more fun to play. Ace hits a rocket start out of the gate and picks up a few quick mini turbos before heading into the cannon. Once he lands, he takes that next long turn really tight and reaps an ultra mini turbo at the end of S1. Matt starts off the same way and grabs those 2 mini turbos, but instead of tricking off the cannon, he does what's known as a fast glider before being shot into the next part of the course. I'll loop back on that later. Once he hits the ground, he takes the next turn impossibly tight thanks to a little game mechanic that allows the player to keep drifting so long as their back wheels don't touch the off-road. After only grabbing a super mini turbo and taking a tighter turn, Matt leads Ace by just over half of a second going into S2. Now there's not much difference between our racers in this section on the first lap. They hit the jump boost, grab a few mini turbos before the end of what I assume is a taffy road where the additional super mini turbo of Matt adds to his lead, which now sits at 0.8 of a second going into S3. Now we've got a quick S3 here, and it consists of Ace hitting that super mini turbo off the ramp before using a mushroom to cut through this chocolate frosting before hitting a jump boost to fly on down to the finish line. The only difference for Matt in this section is he hits a jump boost mini turbo combo off the ramp before taking that same shortcut and jump boost before the finish line. The mini turbo and jump boost count for lap 1 was the same for both players, but thanks to Matt's better arrangement, he's able to pull even further ahead to lead Ace by just over a second going into lap 2. Now we're going to breeze through Ace's S1 because the only difference is that he exits the second turn a bit wide to grab 2 more coins. I want to instead highlight something you probably already knew about Matt's run. Going back to Mario Kart 8, it was found to be faster if you hopped just before one of these types of glider ramps so that only your back wheels hit the glider. This resulted in a faster entry into the cannon and then yielded faster times. Fast glider exists in basically any run that uses a cannon style glider, and it definitely makes a difference as Matt has only increased his lead to just nearly 1.7 seconds at the end of S1. Throughout S2, Ace just stays on a good line and hits a few mini turbos before charging one up to release off the ramp. Nothing really changes here. After his super mini turbo, Matt goes to the left path where he hits the same 2 mini turbos but fits an additional one in before charging one up he'll release with a jump boost off the ramp. These additional boosts and higher speed help him pile on tenths to his lead at will, a lead that now sits at over 2 seconds going into S3. So we already know that Ace releases his super mini turbo off the ramp and takes that same mushroom cut as before. It's a shame he can't fit in a super mini turbo before the jump boost though, that would save him a lot of time. Matt does S3 a little differently. Since he's on the left taffy path and hitting the ramp at a closer angle to the wall, he's able to hit a jump boost and essentially cut this first turn out entirely while keeping his speed up. After that, he'll just take the same mushroom cut and reap a super mini turbo jump boost combo to close out the lap where he leads the former world record holder by over 2.6 seconds going into lap 3. So lap 3 is going to be the same as lap 2 for both racers, so I'll take the time to update you all on where this series is headed. As I'm sure most of you could guess, I'll be taking another break from this series after its final episode and plan to be back the first week of 2021. Season 3 has really exceeded my expectations thus far, and I'm excited to end it on a high note and retire to the shadows to find even more ways I can improve the series. Stay tuned for updates. After one more lap of being really good at this track, Matt comes across the line eons ahead of Ace with his time that ends up being 4.3 seconds faster than the former world record. He made this happen by choosing a faster loadout, fitting in additional boosts throughout the course, and keeping his speed up basically the entire time. This record specifically was a huge milestone for Matt as he was finally able to dip under 121.5 and further cement his status as the sweetest driver on the course. Unfortunately, I couldn't reach out to him with some questions, so we're going to move on to the best known splits. The best known splits for this run are closer to the world record splits than most runs usually are. The only split we know a final time for is lap 3, in which the split is from the world record itself. Laps 1 and 2 are no more than 10 frames faster than the world record splits, which equal around 150 milliseconds that could be knocked off. Matt owns all 3 of these splits, and since he's held this record for so long, it's hard to imagine a faster time coming from anyone but him. The worldwide top 10 consists of 7 national record holders and 4 continental record holders. Matt sits nearly 3/10 ahead of Spanish powerhouse Alberto, and American record holder David Fire rounds out the top 3. 4th through 7th place are only separated by less than 1/10 of a second and include familiar faces such as Hickey, Whippy, Army, and Tane. With the 8th time in the world under 122, we have Irish record holder Kevin, followed by Jimmy and Oceanic record holder Panda to round out the top 10. Matt accounts for well over a third of all world records on this course, and his ability to put up so much separation between himself and the likes of amazing players like Alberto really speak to how strong this record is. It has been up since February of this year and will likely make it to February of next year, but anything can happen in this stupid game. That's all for episode 28. Thanks for watching. The final few episodes are almost here and you definitely don't want to miss them, so stay tuned. If you enjoyed this video, like and share it with your friends and comment on which course you want me to analyze next. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.